While they're passing that mic, I see Ron. There you go, Ken. Some of my Cincinnati guys that I love are here today. Kenny Martin and Ron Allen, thanks for coming. I was in traffic. Ken's in Calabasas. Ron is the head coach at Inglewood High School, so he's my first West Coast coaching protege.
I'll take the first question now. Ben Bolger with the Los Angeles Times.
Hey, Ben.
Hey.
Nice to put a face with a name.
All right. Well, welcome to Westwood, first of all. I guess what I really want to know is, what was it like these last 10 days or so to see this play out so publicly with other names? And I'm sure it was a roller coaster for you of, am I in, am I out, where do I stand? What was that like?
Well, I would tell you that this is important. Coaches don't ride the roller coaster the way everybody else probably would, at least if you're a veteran coach. So all I can tell you is convey you my experience from interest in the job to first contact to constant contact to total honesty the entire time. Whether it was, don't believe that, from Dan and Josh, don't worry about that. My constant message back to them was, trust me, I know. There's all kinds of things going on. And look, and everybody in this room, that you have to do your job. So I just kept telling them, I get it. Trust me, I get it. And I have my own unique situation, right? Because, I have a family that I have to get moved and, people I need to get on board in my personal situation. And so I had two things going on. So I really was so focused on my situation that I didn't, and I'm just a veteran of that. I just think you can't be at the highest level. Like I'm your coach now. So my message to our fans, our former players, our supporters, Dan, Chancellor Block, is I would hope that you know your coach knows what to listen to and what not to listen to. So, not that I'm saying some stuff was or wasn't true. I can only speak to how I was dealt with the entire time. And a timeline was shared to me and it was stuck to. And it was trust us, trust us, trust us. And if we wanted to, you hear we want to talk to a guy, it doesn't mean we don't want you. We have to go through a process. And my message to them was, it's UCLA. You have to go through a process. I mean, it's UCLA. And what I respected the most was, it was because they're the steward of the program. It's UCLA. So you have to go through the process, not to appease people, to appease Chancellor Block and do right by your constituents, to explore every possible option. So I was comfortable with that. It's my long answer so I did not get caught up in that. But we had constant communication, and I was dealt with nothing but honesty the entire time, and communication was great the entire time, which I greatly appreciated.
One follow-up.
Okay.
Do you kind of foresee this as a multi-year rebuild, or do you think NCAA tournament year one? What are your hopes and expectations for winning?
Well, here's this is a great question, so you get some insight into me. My biggest thing today was meeting with the players, and right now I have to develop my relationship with the players. Then we have to figure out who's going to be here, okay? And I told the guys, look, we got to get to know each other, and you got to believe in my vision, not only for our program, but for you individually. So, in a month from now, or whenever we can get a roster that we know is going to be our roster, I could probably give you that, but obviously, it's UCLA. I understand the expectations, and the faster the better. You got to remember, what I would tell you is interesting. You think fans want to win? Try being the coach that doesn't sleep, that puts in all the work, the coaching staff and the players. We want to win more, I promise you. I promise you. I know some fans, I get it, but you go back home and you go back to whatever it is you do. And we don't. We don't. So, to answer your question immediately, but I can't really give you, assessment. But I can tell you this, I hope that everybody stays, and, you know, I hope that we're all on the same page. Obviously, there's 2 recruits I need to call today as well. You know, that I've obviously voiced that they were coming, no matter who the coach was. But you and I will have plenty of time to talk. I hope the roster improves, and I would expect nothing more than you to keep upping the expectations. You don't come to UCLA and not know that that's the case.
Additional questions?
Coach Hanson Wayne from the Daily Bruin. You talk about meeting your players, and obviously you have this sort of reputation as being a defensive coach. How do you get your players and also a fan base to buy into that defensive style?
I want my players and my fan base to buy into winning. If I can convey anything to you, I got a chance to talk with Coach Kelly. You know, I've always been jealous of football coaches because their defensive players don't worry about offense. The linemen don't worry about how many shots they get. Football is a great sport. It's such an easy sport. You got 85 guys. The only guys you got to worry about is the wide receiver wants touches. So you know, so I hope you would convey. I want to be a winning coach, and you got to be able to win games in all ways. So, but I would tell you something that I share with the team, okay? Because we talked about this. You've got to prepare to be the best team on your schedule, or to beat the best team on your schedule, I'm sorry. Okay? And you got to be able, if you want to win conferences and get a high seed in the NCAA, you got to be able to win on the road. That's what separates teams. Okay? You got to be able to beat top 20 teams, you got to be able to win on the road. So how do you do that? You got to be able to score and play defense. By the way, you got to be able to rebound, and you better play together. So it's not, one thing doesn't get you home. You know, if you watch the game Monday, I mean, what a game. You know, the 2 great defensive teams turned into 2 great shot-making teams. I don't know if anybody missed a free throw in the last 5 minutes. So it's just, you know, it's great for college basketball. It's such a high-level game as far as the way it was played. But I will say this to you, competing is the key. But competing is the way you run off a screen, and the commitment level where you set the screen. You know, so here is one interesting thing about here. Kenyon's here today, so I've always show my guys edits of Kenyon Martin rebounding, right? So here when we do our edits, I'll be able to just show all Bruins. There's so many that we get on our synergy system. So hey, you know, here's Russell Westbrook setting a screen. He's not above that. That's part of basketball, okay? Not just playing defense. So it's the way you compete is the key to how much you're going to have success. Because our sport is a sport of effort. It's a sport of physicality, as well as it's a sport of mental commitment as well. So you got to compete in everything. You know, I think the fallacy in basketball is that playing hard equates to defense. It's not the case. You know, the way you run off of a screen, I mean, obviously, we're not going to talk about anybody who's not a Bruin, but Bob's here. He's got some guys that are great at moving without the ball. That's not easy. It's a hard thing to do. You know, as my best player, where I came from, Jaron Cumberland, I had to train him. You know, won all the shots. He had to learn, like, you got to keep running. It's hard. So there's a lot of ways, you know, playing hard is not just defense. So we got to compete in all levels. In the classroom, the way we train, and start, and you know, to me, the strength coach, the nutrition, everything has to be at the highest level if you're going to compete at the highest level. You can't just play defense.
How much of your current staff are you planning to keep? And, oh, sorry.
Oh, there you go. The Cincinnati's?
Yeah.
So it's my hope that Darren Savino gets a serious look at the head coaching job there. I believe in him. Not only is he one of my best friends, but he's ready. So, I owe it to him to try to let that play out. But if not, he's 100%. You know, he's such a, Darren's, you know, hopefully he gets to become a head coach, but if he's here with us, he's such a good guy and not a self-promoter. I had to talk him into doing that. He was ready to get on the plane yesterday. And I have some other young guys there that'll probably come as well. But obviously, you know, look, we're on the West Coast. And so, it brings me another thing I probably didn't talk about. You know, some of my best friends in the world are here today, and the lights are blinding me, and so I don't know where they're at. But I vacation here. So I have literally some of my best friends that I speak to every day live here. So I understand it's a long way. You know, the West Coast is different. We got to have West Coast flavor on our staff. And but when I tell you that, because there's guys I know well in the Pac-12. There's guys I know well that are coaching in high school in California, Las Vegas. There's guys I know well from Arizona. So we got to get the best staff. You got to have the best. And one thing that was conveyed to me, the commitment level here to myself, but more important to the program, to be able to get the best staff, to do everything at the highest level, is the reason I'm here. So to answer your question, that would be the one for sure. And then others, obviously, you know, we'll talk, you know, we got a lot of work to do with that. But I got to, you know, it's paramount. It's like right now, our current players, I got to get with them and their families, but staff is huge.
One guy who checks a lot of those boxes is Ty Sedney, who obviously was on the staff.
Yeah, I got a chance to meet him about an hour ago.
Okay. Is he somebody you would?
He's not as tall as I thought.
Is he somebody you would?
Such a great player, man.
Who would you consider keeping him on?
I'm considering everybody. And I can just tell you from meeting him, he reached the class.
Coach, Sam Cronin, Daily Bruin.
Hello, sir.
So you were talking about it was a difficult time leaving Cincinnati. Can you walk us through how you talked to the team, to the coaching staff?
In between crying? I'm being honest. And it's still going on. I had some of my players last night, I tell you, you got to stop. I got to stop crying. I got to get ready for a press conference tomorrow. It was extreme. The most difficult thing I've ever done in my life other than burying my mother. I mean, the most difficult thing in my life was yesterday. And I never thought I'd have to do that. But relationships are real. You know, nothing great is accomplished without struggle. Frederick Douglass, not me. So, you know, it's just part of it, and something that, you know, you got to be a big boy and handle it right. And I was appreciative of our administration there to let me handle it the right way. To be able to, I was committed to trying to make sure I was the one that told my players. That was really, really important to me.
Hey, Coach, this is Tracy Pearson with
Thanks,
Cronin Online. How you doing? You haven't had a great amount of experience in the West Coast recruiting. What kind of impact do you think you could have? What kind of player are you looking for that kind of embodies the kind of style you want to play?
Well, first of all, I got the most important thing to recruit on the West Coast. It's right here. Got the 4 letters. I have a couple. I've had guys from California and Cincinnati, but you know, I think relationships is everything, Tracy. You know, it's everything. You know, because to me, and I will say this to recruits, you shouldn't come here just because it's UCLA. Okay, Dan and I talked about this. Okay, I can't even allow that. You've got to come because you want to help UCLA win. That's why Russell Westbrook is sending me text messages, amongst many other of our former players, who I really apologize, because my phone has gone off 30 times since the press conference. I have 700 text messages, literally. And I met Coach Kelly, and he said, I texted you yesterday, and I slept 2 hours last night and couldn't find that one. You know, I think I just blew up my phone, so some of them didn't even come through. So identifying players at the highest level, obviously at our level, I'm not, you know, you're not digging. You know, obviously you can't still, obviously there's diamonds in the rough still. But to be able to find players is you got to decide who you want. I think that's the biggest key. But I really I wanted to say that convey that message, that you can't. It's my job as the steward of the program now. That you got to come here to help the Bruins win. You got to come here to represent our program in the right way. You owe that to the guys here. You owe here. You know where I was, I conveyed the same message. Okay. So you owe it to the former players. A program of this magnitude is what it is because of the former players and the people in this room that support the program, and obviously Coach Wood and what was accomplished. So I have to make sure anybody that comes to our team understands that that's why that's part of this. If we're going to give you that jersey, you got to give us your heart. You got to give us everything to help better our school and our team. You can't just come here because the weather's great. The weather's great, and we've been walking around. Josh's been showing me a lot of stuff, and yeah, I'm looking forward to wearing shorts to work. But that's not why I'm here. You know, it's not why I'm here. You come here on vacation. You know, some of my best friends are here today, and I love them. But there's a thing called FaceTime. That's we talk all the time. So I'm here to win national championship. Okay, obviously I feel you have everything in place here to be able to get to that point. To Ben's point, how soon can you get there? Well, we'll see how the next month goes. And then, you got player development. That's the most important thing are not recruits, Trace. It's the guys on your team. The guys on your team, it's not the guy you didn't get, it's the guy you did get. And you got to make sure that those guys are here to win. Whether they're here for a year or 4 years. And that's your job as, it's like I kid with Bob, here I'm the coach, the president, the GM, everything. I get, so you got total control here. So you not only get to coach them, you got to pick the right guys. And that's a huge, so picking my staff and picking the right guys is important. But I have new guys that are on my team now, and I have to make them my guys. So, but recruiting the West Coast is not going to be an issue. Like I would say, I don't want to break rules and start talking about people, but I would tell you that there's somebody here today that's a power broker of one of the best summer programs. Another one that's been a friend of mine for 27 years. So one thing you probably don't know about me is that I know these guys, and I've known them for a long time. I spent a lot of time out here with people that are now highly successful. We were young guys figuring out who was going to pay for fast food.
Additional questions?
Coach, GB Nguyen, Southern California News.
Hey.
You were talking about how you want your team to be, no one wants to play them. What goes into that? How do you instill that kind of
So
toughness?
you can never be easily defeated. Now, I'm not going to give you too much basketball, but this is real simple. If you give up layups and you commit bad fouls, and so you give up layups, the pro guys will tell you this. Okay? You give up layups and free throws and you let open shooters shoot corner jump shots, you're going to lose. On offense, if you take bad shots, you're going to shoot a low percentage. So this is where coaching football and basketball are the same. You got to take care of the ball. Okay, you got to go after the ball because in our game, there's not a lot of fumbles in their game. They're not. In our game, the ball's loose all the time when it comes off the rim and when it's on the floor. So you've got to put forth maximum effort to out-hustle the other team. Okay, so you should never lose a game for coachable things. Hustle, competitiveness, toughness, preparedness, focus, togetherness. Those are all coachable things. That's how you're not easily defeated. Now, and I shared this with the team, look guys, you gotta win when you don't, we gotta win when we do not make shots. Kenyon's here, he knows that line. That's, you gotta be able to win when you do not make shots. So, a fallacy about Bob's team is that they're all about shooting. Okay, and I read an article last fall about JaVale McGee and said the thing people don't get about the Warriors is all those guys are all about defense. Because they understand they can play offense. So you have to do the coach. My job is to make sure we do the coachable things. Because you got to be able to win when you don't make shots. And the truth of it is, you want to score, you got to get some layups. Okay? Which means you got to score on you early in the clock. You got to steal the ball, block shots, get easy baskets. And then you got to rebound. That's effort related. Okay? If guys aren't going to rebound, that's my fault. If guys aren't boxing out, that's so anything that's coachable, you got to, like if you watch Monday night, two unbelievably well-coached teams that came down to shot making. That's why it was such a great game. So it was unbelievable shot making on both ends. But you don't see teams giving the ball away and giving up layups. That's how you're hard to beat. You do not give an inch.
One more over here, sorry.
Sorry about that.
A lot's
They're gonna cut you off soon.
A lot's been made of UCLA about charter flights. Was that in the discussions at all, and where do you stand on that with that?
That will happen, but not just that. Just really, that was a quick answer by Dan and the staff. It's because, again, it's something I haven't had a chance to spend a lot of time with Coach Kelly, but that I try to study coaches, nutrition, academic support. Obviously, we have a new center being built that's going to be the best in the nation for academic support. To be the best, you gotta be able to compete with the best. So warm weather is great, but you're going to get the best recruits, which in my analysis, that's not just the guy's talent. Is he a winner? And he's talented. And he fits our profile of a student athlete here. So you got to have the best of everything. So that commitment was conveyed to me from the first 5 minutes. So over and above the way we fly. And to be honest with you, my thing with that is not for luxury. Especially here, we have academics. More time to focus on your. So as I was walking over after the meeting, Tiger was already in the academic center doing homework, which I told him, I'm better you than me. I'm done with that.
Any additional questions? Okay, so we're gonna wrap up the formal portion of the press conference now. Coach will stay available for scrums and additional interviews here on the stage. Dan will be on the side, and Bob Myers will also be available over here by where I'm standing. Okay, thank you all for being here.
I want to thank everybody for coming today. Thank you.